Hello everybody, welcome back to Insane Brett Gaming. I'm the Insane Brett, and it's been a while since I did an anime unboxing slash review. Now remember, there are two parts to this video where I unbox the product for you and I review it for you after I've watched it. Now I've been having trouble finding this anime, Overlord. It's been only out not that long and I'm having trouble finding copies of it. Amazon no longer do it. Zavi was sold out. I've actually had to go to eBay to find this. I'm very suspect about eBay, or was, because I was always concerned that it was pre-owned stuff and people could scam you. You hear lots of horror stories, etc., etc. And I've never been that comfortable with the idea of buying on eBay. And if I have, it's only because I've been forced to. Hence, today I've been forced to, kind of thing. So I will leave the company in the link in the description below. And I made sure that it was new. The product itself, it wasn't going to be pre-owned. It's actually lots of individual companies are on there, and this particular company has 500 reviews, all of them positive. So that's pretty much sound for me. Everything I do buy plays in the UK, so this will be in the link in the description. So no doubt it will be available. It should be playable in the UK and be dubbed as well. It's not a special edition or whatever. There is season 2 of this. Of Overlord. It is in special edition, available at Zavi.com for about 40 quid. I don't really want to buy a special edition. I'm getting a little bit fed up with all the special editions of these animes when I just basically want the basic one, because in actual fact, because they often come in 2 parts, and it's like £40 for part 1, £40 for part 2. I paid £80 for an anime, and I don't really like the idea of doing that. Unless it's something I really like to a point, but even then, it's kind of annoying, and it costs. I mean, I could buy a game for that kind of price. You know what I mean? So, I'm getting a little bit tired of spending that kind of money. Luckily, this was only about 28 quid, which I'm fine with paying. So anyway, it came within 2 days of second class stamp, so that wasn't bad. It was scheduled for the between the 18th and the 20th, and it's the 17th today, so it came way early, which I'm really happy about. So let's have a look at the condition this is in, and whatever else, and I'll run down the basic story. I'll read the back for you, and then of course I'll watch it and then give you a full review of it. So all right, okay, nothing wrong with it. Let's throw that to one side, and there it is, Overlord. Brand new, sealed, very nice. Wow, I've got a picture of some guy here. Wow, it looks gruesome. My friends did say I should buy it. He told me the story of it ages ago, and it's been on my list for a while. Hence the reason I couldn't find it at a certain point. So I'm going to read the back for you and unbox it. I mean, sorry. Oh man, do you know what? I haven't even got scissors around me or anything sharp. Come on, what is, it's been about 3 months since my last anime unboxing. I did Batman Ninja. If you want to check out that review, you can. It's like a 26-minute rant. Well, the unboxing and a rant about the whole thing when I go into mass detail of it. Got about 50 views, that. So let's take this off. Alright, and inside you get, okay, what's this now? Okay, that seems to be a bit confusing to me. For some reason, you've got episodes 1 to 9 on the right, and episodes 10 to 13 on the left, which is weird. Hold on, let me change that back round. Okay, so basically, this is 13 episodes. There's the inside of it. Don't get that with it, but let's have a look at the actual story. From Madhouse studio behind Death Parade, Parasite, and No Game No Life. I do like No Game No Life. I've got the anime. Comes the ultimate trapped in a game anime. Okay. On the night of his favorite MMORPG is scheduled to be shut down, veteran player... Oh, their names, they really kill me. Momonga stays logged in until the clock bites 0. The screen goes dark only for a few moments before he finds himself completely immersed in the online world, left with all his characters' devastating powers, total domination over his loyal NPCs, and nothing better to do. He decides to try his hand to taking over the world. All of his hours spent grinding in the dungeon, crawling, paid off. He tests his strength at local rogues and legendary beasts. Okay, comes to realize that not one opponent can stand against his might. Ah, embracing his new identity as the fearsome Mag Ams One Gown, whatever that is. He continues to search for bigger, badder adventures, leaving people. Okay, but who is exactly trapped with whom? Okay, so basically it's about a guy who gets trapped in the gaming world. He stays in there. That sounds really interesting. No wonder my friend said buy it, because I'm interested in the gaming animes. You know, when they get trapped in there, you look at Sword Art Online. Some people criticize the anime. I very much like it. And the fact this has a season 2, that's going to be really, really interesting. Alright guys, that is the end of the unboxing part. I am now going to watch this, all 13 episodes, and then I will get back to you and give you my full thoughts and opinions on it. And of course I'll be buying season 2 at some point. I don't know when, but yeah. But I like the idea of season 2, so I can snap that up if I want to. The problem is, again, it's special edition. It's 50 quid. I don't really want to pay that. But whatever, it is what it is. I'll probably buy another anime, Testament New Devil, as well. I've got to pick up the second part of that and review that for you guys as well. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you in a bit after I've reviewed Overlord. Hey guys, welcome back to part 2. I'm going to be reviewing Overlord. I'm going to try and break this anime down as much as I can. At the same time, I will be leaving some stuff out probably, because it is a lot of information there, and of course, I'm not going to be able to go into all the side characters and stuff like that, but I'm just going to give you the overview anyway. So basically, Overlord starts with a particular character called Momonga, who's basically in his favourite game. We don't know the name of that game. Maybe it's called Overlord. I don't know. Which is an MMORPG in which, if you watch the likes of, I believe something like Dark Souls or Monster Hunter, in which you can cast spells, put charms on yourself to protect yourself, you know, up the ante of your ability, and you can cast those before battle to protect yourself, like I did in Monster Hunter with the likes of Might Seed. And basically this guy is a vet at the game, and he's there in the last day in which the servers are due to shut down. And lo and behold, the time comes and goes, and he's stuck there. And the characters, such as these NPCs who are in the game, basically become alive. But before this happens, in one particular one, I can't remember her name, you'll know her, she's got horns, trust me. Basically, he writes in her code that she's in love with him. So basically, it's an old game. They've kind of hacked it, and his friend you know, had access to coding her and creating those characters the way they wanted them to be. And he basically edits it on the last day that she's totally in love with him, whatever, as a joke kind of thing. And then, of course, when it comes to real life or the situation when it opens up and they're all alive and he's trapped in this world, she is in love with him, along with another girl as well who's part vampire. Okay. So after he gets stuck in there, and the NPCs come alive, they're basically still in their roles, of course, and they're loyal to the Overlord kind of thing. But lucky for us, actually, and this is my opinion, he changes his name. He comes up with a new identity in the game, in the world, which is kind of ironic because a lot of people do that. If you have your PSN name or gamer tag, you actually change your name in the game that you're actually in, specifically, like if it's an open world kind of game like this. Something cool or badass to, you know, the Dark Slayer, the Soul Taker, you know what I mean, whatever kind of cool name you can come up with. And he actually changes it to Ames Al Ghul. Now, it's actually spelt Gorn, but you don't pronounce the N, so Ames Al Ghul, which is a little bit better. Momonga's a bit weird, but I didn't like that name from the off. So Ames Al Ghul, the NPCs, now the actual NPCs are actually kind of hot, and a few of them, like I said, are in love with him, which just brings some comedy to it as well at times. It's not a fan service anime, it's more like a decent story. And, well, semi-decent story or decent world with some comedy thrown in there, with some action, more or less. He basically decides to try and take over the world, spreading his name across the land. But he's actually was in a certain part of the game, and call it an expansion at this point. But basically, he knows certain things about the world, the items he's got, their abilities, he's mega powerful, and stuff like that. And he gets transferred into what I would call an expansion pack. I'm not too sure. I'm going to throw it out there. Like a whole other section of the world that he knows nothing about. And he just discovers there's a village across the way. He tries to defend his base, and then but he has to find more about the world, and he kind of goes undercover. In theory, but at the same time, he's mega powerful. Sorry, guys, I have written a lot of this stuff down because of my memory's so bad. Okay, so basically, after he goes to this new location, most of his abilities remain intact, and he's basically a badass in the world who can defeat most enemies. And he's kind of disappointed when the enemies come up to him, or like the people are trying to call shit, and he's like, okay, well, I've vowed to protect this village. You're attacking the village. Fight me, and let's see what you got. And basically, they're coming at him with everything they've got, and he just wipes the floor of them, even face palming, like, oh my god, this is garbage. I'll let my assistant handle this. You're too underpowered for me. And they're shocked at this and angry. Of course, they won't get their asses handed to them, and they kind of leave. They run away with their tails between their legs, kind of thing. This game basically is rich in the world. It's kind of like, I don't know, rich in storytelling. You can already feel that it's there, and it's got that ability to tell such a great story of monsters and stuff like that. So this game actually consists of 3 or 4 countries, which has lots of potential, as I said. Full of the countries probably competing with each other, clans, monsters and stuff like that. So you can really tell this is going to be a rich world, and I really want to get into it a lot more and explore a lot more of this world coming up as well. However, for me, the plot is a little bit thin on the ground. So I'll tell you the actual main plot of this. After he sees the village, vows to protect them. Basically, the main bad guy, in regards to the plot, like I said, it's a bit strange and weak. But you can tell it's going to get better for me. But a guy named Kaji is trying to take over a town, the town he's vowed to forget. Ames Al Ghul has said he will protect it if he... and he meets basically a band of adventurers who he teams up with to do a job with. And things go bad due to a girl named Clementine, who loves to kill and was basically crazy. I actually ended up really enjoying her character. I thought she was interesting. She had depth to her. And she was sinister and dark, and I kind of like that. And I've actually found myself really liking this bad guy, which rarely happens. And I cared about her as a bad guy. I thought she was one of the cool characters, as well as the main character. The group of I'll actually getting back to the actual story before I venture on to the adventurers. Basically, Clementine, who loves to kill and is crazy, who ended up liking, who helps Kaji. This is the plot point. She helps Kaji, one of the bad guys, who's part of a cult, in kidnapping a guy they're trying to protect. Remember, this guy Kaji is trying to take over the town, and basically wants to raise an army of undead, and he needs this boy who is in town to sacrifice or whatever to make this happen. He's like really powerful magic maker or whatever it is. I can't remember, or spellcaster. And of course, Izon Gorn, Gal, whatever, basically is in town, and he basically is gone to meet the adventurers or go and do quests to gain money in this world. And because his money apparently is useless, so he needs a lot of money. But of course, he's like a badass. But remember, he's a noob at the game. It's a new area, so basically he has to start off at the bronze level. But of course we know he's super powerful, so people are looking at him like, oh, what? And he's kind of annoyed as well. So he's like, oh man, I've got to do these crappy beginning missions. And then to put that into context, imagine you completing Dark Souls 1, 2 and 3, going into Monster Hunter, and then you're like, oh, I've got to start the crap missions. But you're very well experienced in playing these types of games. You know what you're doing. You feel like, oh, come on, I can't wait to rank up and get those better missions. You know what I mean? Because I'm more experienced enough to play the kind of game. I can breeze through it, but it's kind of annoying. You have to wait, and that's kind of how he feels. But he ranks up pretty quickly, I must say. Basically, the adventurers he meets up with are interesting characters as well, and you end up liking them as well. It doesn't prattle on for too long, but you actually do like them, and you get to know them quite well in 1 or 2 episodes. And they each got their personalities. One of them in particular is after his assistant. Like, oh man, let's go on a date, baby, and all this kind of rhetoric. And there's some more comedy aspects of that there. It's generally funny. And then, of course, something happens, and then he goes off to fight the main bad guy. Again, like I said, the plot point there is pretty weak, like, in respects to just taking over the town, but he meets her in battle kind of thing. The anime, for me, wraps up pretty well. And as for filler episodes, then there's not really any filler episodes. What it does is actually takes the anime, gives you the complete story in 9 episodes, and then I thought, well, I've got 12 episodes here. What I can do for the other 3 episodes or whatever? And basically, what they do is they tell a side story about one of the other side characters, who's basically mega powerful, and she's part of the undead, which means she cannot actually have her mind taken control of. But of course, this has actually happened. Isengul suspects that there was another player, and he can't be the only player in this world who loved the game and played it on the last day and probably got stuck there. There's another player in the world who's got a world item, which is basically a badass rare item, which allows him to take control, mind control of even the undead, such as vampires and stuff like that. So he's really nervous about that. He's really an interesting character where he tries to decipher the situation, tries to get to know the area, and he's really clever talking tactically about it as well. Of course, he is a vet at the game, so that only kind of makes sense. And this game breaks away, I suppose, from the likes of Sword Art Online to a point. I mean, it's got less characters in it, or thus far, but at the same time, he already knows a lot of what he's doing, so it's kind of like a different perspective on it, and it's really interesting to see him be the smart player he is, or a vet. It's different from watching a noob start the game and learn how to do things and whatever else, and the struggles that can go on with that, with a guy who's a vet who knows the world, who is still trying to adapt, but more in a clever way, where he's trying to learn, break it down and understand the world. Yeah, it's just interesting to see how clever he is, basically, at the game. So yeah, like I said, the sales story. Sorry, I'm just trying to read some of my notes here. Basically, for me, the music is pretty good. The voice acting is solid. There's even with the main character, he actually goes in from a normal voice and what we would speak, and to playing the role of Ansel Ghoul, and he's like, "I will take you down with one strike." And so he switches between his voices, which kind of annoyed me at first, but then I understand the core concept of what he was doing. There's good characters. Like I said, there's a few side characters that stand up. There are multiple side characters in respects to his unit, his team. 2 twins, some big robot looking dude, I don't know, looks like a mech to me, and whatever else. But again, you don't really get to explore too much of those characters, at least I feel. They're not really fleshed out. Maybe in Season 2 we get to explore more of them. So I ain't really speaking about them in particular. The main 2 are the 2 girls, the vampire chick and the other girl who's really in love with him as well. Well, they're both in love with him, to be honest with you. So those are, and his sidekick, who's like a total badass girl. Badass ninja kind of she's a spellcaster, really powerful, and she's like always at his side, and ironically, they're all supreme beings of like different spellcasters and vampires and stuff like that. They actually hate normal humans, which is ironic because he's actually human himself, of course, in real life. Whatever. But there's not really any fan service there. It's not really for that. It's just comedy purposes, and there's just a couple of hot chicks in it. There's comedy aspects of it, and there's badass fighting with good characters, or like the main character and the bad guy as well. The only criticism I do have is the plot point is a little bit weak with just taking over the town, but it is just the first season. It is only 12 episodes. What else is good about it as well? Plus, another good thing about this anime is they're bold. They're not afraid to kill off characters. Even if you like characters, they're not afraid of killing 1 or 2 off. And I like that. It was interesting. It was different. I was annoyed, but it was like, well, it's solid there. You've made a choice and you've ran with it. It's really, really cool. He even takes on a couple of monsters, of course, throughout the actual anime itself. And in the monster battles, they actually bring in, I was shocked and amazed to see 3D animation, which I'm not a huge fan of. But then they, for this monster battle, they actually had this 3D animation. I thought was pretty cool as well. In conclusion, well, at the end, I felt it was a very satisfactory ending towards him and the bad guy in itself. And then they told that side story, which I thought was kind of cool because it didn't break up the element of the actual game, of the actual anime itself, where you get those crappy, you forget what's happening in the story. It told one story and then gave you 3 or 4 extra episodes, which I thought was pretty cool. I cannot wait for season 2. In conclusion, it had good music, good characters, the action was okay, the animation was decent, the comedy aspects were there as well. and they were bold enough to kill off characters. The only, like I said, there's two things that I do have a problem with, and that's a weak plot point. Sorry, let me switch back to the camera. Just a weak plot point, which I was a little bit disappointed in. But other than that, nothing really to complain about. I cannot wait for season 2. And my other point about this anime is not the art style, but the box art. Look at that box art. Some people would say that's cool. I can't tell what it is. I mean, I get what it is, but if I saw that at the beginning, I don't know what that is. I do not want to pick that up and buy that because I don't know what it is. It's not very appealing to me. It's not. I don't know what that is. It's like a monster. It's actually him, his character. And he is actually undead, and he can't. Oh, by the way, the world makes him not feel anything. Basically, when he kills people, he doesn't feel anything. That's an extra bonus information in there as well for you. But yeah, I don't like that box art. I don't. If I was passing that in HMV or whatever, I would not pick that up and go, "Oh, I'll buy this." I had to be told about this anime, like most animes I'm told about, and I get the core concept, and then I think, oh, that sounds good, interesting. I'll run with it, and then 9 out of 10, I never regret this. I never regret buying these animes. Anyway, guys, that is the end of this review. I haven't regretted buying it. The good news is season 2, we won't have to wait for 2 years or whatever, more or less. We are going to be waiting till we've got 25 days until the next one comes out, or whatever. So yeah. Or no, we're probably about 20 days. It comes out on the 1st of July next month. I thought it was this month, actually. Yeah, so there is a special edition you can buy for £40. I don't want to pay £40 for any more animes. I'm sick and tired of that. Especially when, if I'm paying 50, I can get 2. So, for example, this is 25. I'll buy another one for another 25. 50 quid. I've got 2 animes. Rather than special edition paying 40. I mean, that's more or less the price of the game. You know, that's just my personal opinion. If you can do it and you like buying special edition for everything, then by all means, go ahead. But yeah, so special edition season 2 is £40, £44 on Zavvi.com, and then the basic one I think is going to be 25. I'll be buying the basic one, but I'm fine with that. I know you get some cool stuff with the Zavvi version, like with the special edition, you get like a scroll and stuff like that, and cards and God knows what, an art book maybe, I don't know. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I will be next week we finish off Batman, or sorry, this week we finish off Batman coming up, and then I'll be starting God of War. That will start up on next Monday. Not this Monday, next Monday. And then I'll be reviewing Testament New Devil as well, Season 2, or Part 2, sorry, which I never got around to doing. Just yet. I've did number Part 1, so you can check that out. I'll leave it on the annotations here, and then you can check that out. And then I'm interested to see where they go with that, because essentially, to me, it was basically a porno. The first one is ridiculous. Anyway, guys, I will see you next time. Oh, and you can donate to me via PayPal. Donate here on my channel banner, or in the link in the description below. Monthly or one-time payment to help me run this channel. And buy some merchandise, up to you. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.